like, Richard, what the heck were you? I was, texting you, calling you, and
You were?
yeah, and I kept telling, I kept
Al,
telling,
he's blocked you, I think.
I think he did. He did. He blocked me.
Where
So I
was
kept
I yesterday?
Were you on the beach?
I was never on the beach yesterday. I was in a lot of different places. I worked until like what time? 10 a.m. my time. And then I went to town for 2 hours. That's like a big, that's an event here to go to town.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know, Al. I got a couple of text messages from you, but I didn't get a phone call from you that I noticed. But
No, I called twice. I figured I'm gonna just take a chance. I'm old school. This thing about I'm gonna text you first and then I'm gonna call you is like, man,
no, calling, I always pick up when I see you calling, if I see you calling, but I'll have to go. Well, here's my phone right here. What the heck happened to Al Bala yesterday? Calls.
no, I know you do. It's just
Oh yeah, there you are. Look at you, Al Bala. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. Sorry.
So,
no,
Al,
not not.
do I have
Faced it.
permission to talk about it without Richard knowing?
Uh, well, yeah, I guess so. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, Richard's a great fan, big fan of Ace, and I think the main thing I wanted to do is before we got on this call officially, just to talk a little bit about that and the fact that a lot of our people are really excited about Ace.
I can
So
speak
how?
to Ace. I
Huh?
did get that. I did get that message, and I can speak to Ace.
Okay.
Okay. Well, let's do that more in the sales process because I think that's where it comes in our training outline today. But first of all, I want to welcome you all to our Super Saturday training. We moved off 1 week from last week, and you still have time to invite people onto it. I'm going to kick it off. I found this video on YouTube. I just want to share it because it really touched my heart, and it's what we do in our business. So hold on one second. Let me just share this video. It's a short video.
When we're laying on our deathbed, you're not going to worry about how much money you had, how much power you had, how much prestige. You're going to see that that was all game, that was all an illusion. The only thing that's going to matter is the impact you had on other people's lives.
We are all on a separate journey. But the beautiful thing about our life here on this earth is at my funeral, they ain't gonna talk about my success. They're gonna talk about who Nick was and how Nick lived and how Nick loved and encouraged.
Success is incredibly important, but even more important than success, it's having an impact. It's knowing you haven't walked the planet in vain. It's knowing that because you've been here, you've blessed lives, you've developed people, and you have made the world a better place.
The effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is. Everything you gain in life will rot and fall apart, and all that will be left of you is what was in your heart.
Life is a mirror. And life gives us not what we want. Life gives us who we are. When you were born, you cried while the world rejoiced. Live your life in such a way that when you die, the world cries while you rejoice.
Through what we do, we are impacting people's lives. Look at the effect that Ross Marie and Eddie have had on all of our lives who's gone through the 21-day reset. And every time we share, we're impacting someone's life. May not be comfortable. It's about getting out of the box and sharing. So I just wanted to share that with you guys this morning, that when it gets uncomfortable, do it anyway. Because there's kids around the world that we're affecting through RM5M, and there's lives that we're changing. We're seeing the stories that's coming through in our groups of how their life is changing through our sharing the 21-day. And we've had it with Ambertos and everything else. So welcome to our Super Saturday training. Who's ready to go impact some lives today?
Today, this week, this month,
This week, this year.
this year.
And so just wanted to share that. First, we're going to kick off with Mary Jo talking about discernment. When we met with Al, Mary Jo had some great ideas about how do we discern whether they want, which pack they want. Do they want just to take the products, do the cleanse, want it for free, or do they want to build a business? We have a great opportunity to get some money in people's hands, and Christmas is coming up. So, Mary Jo, I'll turn it over to you.
Great. Yeah, because I know most of us, we get in network marketing, what's the first thing we do? We want to talk to every single person we see, right? And sometimes what happens is we get discouraged by how people respond to us. And it robs us of our joy, and it tends to rob us of our energy. And then we start saying things like, well, I don't think this model works. Now, you can look at Al and Richard Brooke, and you can look around us. We have people that have been in this model for longer years than we've been on the planet, okay? We know the model works. But the problem that we have sometimes is our own personal lack of discernment when we approach people, right? We want to pile on them. We want to say as much as we can. We want to get as much out of our mouth as we can possibly do it. We think we have the best thing to talk about all the time. But one of the most important things with discernment is listening to the other person. And this is why we always want to set you up with questions to ask people. So when you're out there even talking about this incredible liver cleanse, you can start with a conversation about hey, you know what? I just came across tons of information about how critical our liver is. Do you understand that? And see what they understand. Pursue their understanding so that now they're participating in the conversation. Instead of like, oh my gosh, this company just came out with this great, we have this super 30-day liver cleanse program and you just got to get on board with it. And let me tell you what happened to me. Notice the difference in the approach to the person. One, you're overwhelming them with salesy stuff. The other one is that you're opening them up. What do they know? What's their understanding already? So it positions you perfectly to really walk through with them what this is about. So start looking at how am I approaching people and say, how can I be positioning myself better and, with more caution maybe and a level of confidence than I am just trying to blurt out and scream at them about a liver cleanse. Because a lot of people, let me ask you this question. How many people even know what the liver's for? Like, do you? Right? I mean, really, some people will look at you and just glaze over because they don't, if you ask the simple question, do you understand what the liver is actually for? I will guarantee you that 75% plus will not have an answer to that question. Yet here we are blurting all this stuff out. So the way we want to approach it, just be more discerning with people. You don't just jump all over them and tell them what to do. And I think there's a great book out. Malcolm Gladwell wrote a book, Talking to Strangers, What We Should Know About the People We Don't Know. It's a good, what we should know about the people we don't know, right? So it just reminds us that we approach people with a level, of caution, yet confidence. So think about the 2 C's when you approach people. Caution, but confidence, right? And again, one of my favorite books on the planet, I know I've influenced a lot of you to read it, is the book, What Other People Think of Me Is None of My Business. And some of you need to consume that book because you get so worried about what other people think of you. And perhaps the reason I fell in love with that book is because I also fell in love with evangelism. You know, when I go out there and share the gospel, what other people think of Mary Jo just doesn't matter. I'm there for one only reason. So we need to let go of this outside stuff because some people will, some people won't, some people are angry, some people are happy, some people are just never going to agree with you no matter what you say. How many of you have come across those people, right? Yeah, thank you, Shane. Yeah, you could say anything in the world and they're not going to agree with you because they're just disagreeable people. So again, this is cultural. This is what's going on in our world today, and it should never stop you. So if you need to go and read that book, What Other People Think of Me Is None of My Business, I recommend you go do it, and do it not tomorrow, today, right? Get it out of your panoply because we're on a mission. And our mission with Mannatech, as we all know, is heartfelt. We want to change the world in incredible ways, starting with helping people reach their highest and best health. And we know that by our own experiences that we've had and all the experiences that we've seen. So keep that in your head, right? So when we go out and deal with people, most people are generally honest, right? We can I use that as a premise because I really want to believe the world is that good. I know that there are dishonest people out there, but I'm going to start with that. So but I'm still going to balance my confidence with caution. So no expectation, I have caution. People are not going to want to do this. People are going to want to do this. But what I need to do is have discernment over what direction they are. So how do we build discernment as a communicator out there? Number one, it's commitment and practice. Because discernment is a learned skill. You know, there are going to be people out there that red flags are everywhere. They're huge hurry, lavish you with compliments, blah, 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 blah. But no eye contact. So you've got to be able to pick up on these clues that are happening in your conversation with people. And don't confuse information that you get with analytics. The world is awash with lots of data. We get data thrown at us everywhere, and we tend to want to do that. Let me throw you all the statistics about how many people have liver disease, blah, 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 right? And we...
Recording in progress.
We got somebody from outer space on this call today, Lydia. Okay. And so we're missing the ability to sift through that data and turn it into something that's called meaningful action content. So what we want to do is we get to know other people. When we have a prospective buyer of the liver cleanse or a potential consumer or whatever that, you know, a business builder versus consumer, you know, we want to learn more about that person before we start dumping on them. It doesn't mean you have the right information. It's not always true. We have to really develop that relationship with people. So the idea is that we don't want to could get confused about information and analytics. And then check your gut around people. When you're working with people, check your gut. If there's something not trustworthy about a person, and some of us have better judgment than others, but when there's something you're not trusting about somebody, your emotions have probably helped identify that for you, even before perhaps you intellectually come to that conclusion. So take your time with those people. You know, you want to maybe spend extra time with them and not get so heavily involved and go right to the point. You might want to sit back and say, hey, I'd like to share some things with you and kind of give it more time. Because how many of you have approached somebody with a liver cleanse and they jumped right on it in 5 seconds or less? How many of you had that experience? I know I have. I just start mentioning it and they go. But other people are going to sit back and they're going to, so we have to recognize the other person and have discernment. Is this somebody that's going to take me some time to walk them through a path? Or are they going to be more readily to jump on a program like this than another person? And a lot of this has to do with personality quadrants. What personality quadrant are they in? The analyst, and we have some of those here, right, Amanda? Okay, Amanda, I'm picking on Amanda, but we do have some analysts here. And we have Anne. I see some analysts because I know their personality quadrant. I mean, those are the kind of people that are not going to buy from you in the first 5 minutes. They're going to want to see all the data. They want to see the studies. They want to see what's in the liver cleanse. But it's for us to have the discernment to recognize that in a person so we don't get frustrated and we're capable of taking them on the path that they're wanting to go. Again, we need to show discernment because not everybody's made the same way. And then some of you also go out there and you want to say, oh, all you have to do is get 3 other people and you get yours for free, 3 for free. Well, they're like 3 personality quadrants that won't even think about that. The promoter quadrant's going to jump over that in 5 seconds. Go, really? All I have to do is get 3 people. I'm in. I'm going to do that, right? But is the get yours for free, which is a great little jingle to use, is that something we can use with any of the? It can be used with other people in different quadrants, but it has to be used at the very tail end when you talk about the pricing. If I'm working with a supporter or an analyst, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to go, you know what? Let me just share one additional thing with you. That if you want to have me get in help, I will help you do it. So if you'd like me to help you be in contact with other people, I'm sure you're going to want to carry this and take it to your friends. Then let me be a part of that process and you can get yours for free. But I've got to be able to have discernment over who am I talking to here, whether that's going to be somebody that's going to be willing to do that. Your analyst, tell me if I'm wrong, is going to kind of look at you and go, I'm not going to tell anyone about it until I have the right results. And that's the only time I'm going to share. There's Anne. Look at her. She's thumbs up. There's my analyst in the group, right? So it's good to understand personality quadrants for this thing. But your promoters doesn't care whether it works or not. They're going to get every one of their friends on it because they can make money with it. So, again, so for us going out there and sharing about the liver cleanse, we really want to be conscientious about who is the person we're talking to? What is their personality quadrant? Can we understand some of that first and just be able to see where they fit? And then you're going to be 10 times more effective in how you approach them and them coming to the conclusion that, yes, this is something that I'd like to do. We tend to get so excited. Aren't we all excited? How about, you guys all remember the first day you came across Amritos and you fell in love with it and you went out there and you wanted to tell everybody, scream from rooftops and 3/4 of the world looked at you and said, she's really crazy, right? Same thing. We have to understand, take some time, understand your 4 personality quadrants, have some understanding of that so that you can show some discernment in how you approach them, so that you're approaching them in a fashion that they're most likely to say yes, right? So that's what I want to share today, because I know some people are getting out there and they're just going out there barreling through all their friends and their people and blah, 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 and they're wondering why they're not having great results like some of the other people are. Well, it's called discernment. That's your step 1. Am I really looking at this person to understand what's going to be most likely for them to conclude that this is something for them? Are they going to need more information? How do you find that out? You ask them, can I get you some additional information on this? And they'll say, the analyst will say, absolutely. Where can I find the medical information and all the other things? And you're going to know that. Your promoter might say, no, I know I need this. Just get it to me. But know that you're going to be dealing with different personality quadrants. You need to have the discernment when you're looking at people. Is this a proper person? Is this a person to approach this way or approach this way or approach this way? And then there's the category of people maybe that you wouldn't approach at all. And that can be a category as well. So hopefully this helps you guys, because it really is an effective way to, it's not just about marketing the liver cleanse. It's about marketing anything to anyone. Understanding this concept of different personality quadrants, having discernment instead of just barreling out there because you're so excited, We love to go and preach about our benefits that we've had. That is something we can tell people about, but the level of excitement, how you get that across to somebody can make all the difference in the world on whether they're receptive or not. So don't sound like a major salesperson. You want to sound like somebody that really cares about that other person, what results they can get, and have discernment over the people that you're approaching on jumping into the business versus just consuming the product. So that's what I wanted to cover today. Hopefully that helps you a little bit, take some nuggets away from that, and you're going to find yourself 10 times more effective when you're out there marketing Deliver Cleanse. Okay, Al, your turn. You're next.
Awesome. Thank you, Mary Jo. That was awesome. Peggy asked, is there a test where you could help you and your downline? Free of course, where they can find out what personality quadrants. Peggy, if you just Google it, I just Googled it, there's like 10 million of them out there. So that's an easy thing to do.
And if Al
but-
wants me to do it, we could do it. We could do a special. I'd be more than happy to just do an hour program for people on personality quadrants. Al, if you want to plug that into some of our trainings, that would be great.
Mhm.
Okay.
I teach it all the time, so it's
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Mary Jo. That was great. And I just want to put some context to this. Mary Jo, how many people did you bring into the business last month?
6,
6. How about the month before?
5,
7.
7. Oh, Lydia's got the.
Yeah, it was 7 and 6. So I'm just saying that only because, look, obviously what Mary Jo is talking about is something that she applies in her business. And this idea of listening, asking the right question and listening. I would say to Peggy, you know, you can go deep into personalities. I mean, some people have, but you can also learn very quickly just from some keywords people will tell you. So we don't need to turn into personality technologists, but we need to just be listening to some keywords, and they will tell you so much about these people and what they really like and what they want, and be able to tune your message to that. So the main reason we started with this today is because we are obviously now going to shift ourselves from we bought into the program. Right. So this call is all about how we're going to turn the liver reset concept into a business. Okay. Everybody that's here, you guys are leaders. You're here because you have chosen that Mannatech is your business. Right. And so, and the liver reset, while there's a huge component about all of us wanting to live a better version of ourselves in wellness and be the image that we want to portray to those that are looking for wellness solution. It's hard to talk about wellness solution if you're not well. So we have done a great job, and I want to just congratulate everybody. I mean, our chat, the WhatsApp chat is off the chart. Your engagement is off the chart. Your testimonials off the chart. Your discipline is off the chart. I mean, you guys have done an amazing job embracing this concept. And now what we want to do, this call and other calls are going to be about how we go from, I have an amazing personal testimonial, to literally the video that Lydia showed when she started. By the Lydia, was an amazing video, great way to start the meeting, because how do we now create impact from our story? So part of what I wanted to talk to you, Richard, mostly was as we were setting up this call today, this 2 hours, how we can all, you and I and Mary Jo and others here, how can we now start building towards this idea of turning the liver reset into now a business model? Does that make sense? And we started with discernment, because in that process, you got to be able to understand, right? Who wants to be in it for pure consumption? Who wants to get in it and have their products paid for? And then who wants to be in it because they really want to launch a business where we have a solution to a problem, because every business is a solution to a problem. There's a huge global problem. It's all over. I mean, literally 7.8 billion people on Earth have a liver, and probably most of them have a liver problem that they know or they don't know. So we have a solution to something that's huge. And my pastor used to say, the size of your reward is in direct proportion to the size of the problem that you solve. So we are solving a big problem for a lot of people. So that for me is the foundation of a great business. So now, how do we go and tell that story? Well, it starts by having discernment, by understanding, okay, so, and also clarity. Let me say, it's discernment and clarity. You know, when you're having this conversation, they're not just, you know, over the fence conversation, and let me see if they say the right thing, and then I'm gonna kind of tell them what I got, whatever. No, it's a very intentional process. So Richard, part of what we want to do today is how do we turn this into intentionality, right? So I'm going to deviate a little bit from our previous agenda, but it's, and I, because I want to hear from you on this before I go into my piece, which is going to be, we talked about it, we called it the obliterating the myth of the middle class, and why more people than ever today are open to hear about how to make an extra $500 to $1,000. All right, that is a reality today. That was even a bigger reality than when Richard and I started in the business, and we spent half of our presentation just trying to convince people that they should be doing something else, because they had a job, just over broke, jackass of the boss, whatever. They had a 401k, they had Social Security, they had all these things that they thought, oh my God, I'm all set, I'm good. I don't need that. Well, that's not the case today. That's not the case today. 63 million people are looking for ways to make money for three reasons. There's a cultural shift about making money. There is a advancement in technology that gives everybody the right tools to be able to make money. And then there is economic realities. And I'm going to jump into economic realities right now. And I don't mean to be, this is not about being negative. This is about just being realistic. This is what's going out there. We might be living in our own little bubble and everything is okay. And I'm doing all right. I'm getting through life. I'm not thriving, but I'm surviving, whatever. There's people that are not even surviving. Forget about thriving. So we need to have an emboldenment about sharing the idea of people wanting to make money. And again, you ask the questions, you get to find out. But even those who are telling you they're not, well, some people lie really well. I'll just say that, because that's not what the stats say. So I was in a meeting on Wednesday with John Fleming, and the stats that are coming out of why people do the gig economy and how many people are doing it and how many more people will be doing it is pretty outstanding. Not in a good way, but it's outstanding for us because it means our market has enlarged. Our market for people who are looking for something has enlarged. So that means our opportunity is bigger than it's ever been. All right, I'm looking at Richard from the UK. You would think the UK, which was a very anti-MLM country, now is the country where some of the fastest growing MLM companies are from the UK. And I bet you, Richard, is because the economic realities on the ground in the UK are such that people are looking. So I want us to change our mindset. So Richard, before I go into my thing, I wanted to give you just a chance to kind of check our thinking here and where we're going, because we're going to go from the economic reality, we're going to go right into the sales process. We're going to give you the exact steps. We're going to talk about the steps. We're going to brainstorm the step. We're going to role play, the objections and all that. And then, Richard, you were going to end with the mindset, but I want to start with mindset and then I end with mindset, if that's okay. So we're going to do a little bit of a
Hey,
quick.
Al, before Richard goes, let me just share a prime example of discernment. So last month we got this person signed up with the 21-day, one who came over and bought the products and didn't want to ship it. She's done. She let me know she's done on the 21-day, but she wanted to say, what else, what other products do I need? So we know she doesn't need money. So we went right into the products. Her automatic order now is $600 a month.
Amazing.
So
And
that was Mary Jo's discernment going, Lydia, find out what other health issues is she battling with. And she gave us, so she's on Ambertose, Manipul, shakes, GI Pro Balance.
awesome. And
So-
again, it's asking the right question, is
Correct.
understanding where they're coming from, and start with them where they are. It doesn't mean that as we go down, this person may not be a person who says, oh my God, I got this person, that person. Now that I'm feeling great and I'm telling my story, I got all these people that are saying, hey, how do I get this? Oh, well, let me show you what happens.
Well, this person likes to talk, so
that
could be a good.
So it'd be a natural progression. So I'm
Yeah.
going to kick it off to you, Richard, to kind of a setup to this meeting, and now that you know where we're trying to go, and then I'll jump it back in after you and go into some of these economic realities and maybe a little bit more, the mindset of why we should be talking more about the business.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Al. So I'm just going to spin off what Mary Jo started with. There's two kinds of prospects. There are those that you already know, and you're going to put those people in the bucket of you're just going to ask them. So if you flip back to the, 4 ask a day program, that is the pace of play that's required to get into momentum in 90 days. If you want to get the popcorn popping, you want to get 2 or 3 people enrolling every month, 4 people enrolling every month, create all kinds of energy, create all kinds of chaos, you got to ask 4 people a day to look at something, preferably a video. That is the kind of prospect where when you send them, for example, a message, they know who you are, you know who they are. They don't have to be good friends, but they need to be a solid connection. Those kind of people, you don't have time to build rapport with. If you build rapport with everybody that you know, I popped a little cartoon video that I'm working on in the chat. You can look at later. If you build rapport with everybody you know before you ask them to take a look at what you're doing, well, you'll never get 4 asks a day in. You probably won't even get 4 asks a week in. But there is another kind of prospect, and that's the people we don't know that well. We don't know what's important to them. We don't know what they do for a living. We don't know where they live. We don't know anything about their family. And those are the people that I think Mary Jo is talking about, that before you start pitching them, you need to find out who they are and what's important to them. And that's not an interview or an interrogation. That's not something that takes place one time. That's a relationship that you have with that person. So think about, if you just went through your phone and separated people into 2 categories. One category is, well, I know this person well enough to just ask them. And this other person, I don't know them well enough to just ask them. I know them. They know me, my name. But, if I were to say, hey, what's their spouse's name? I don't know. What do they do for a living? I'm not sure. How many kids do they have? I don't know that either. Right? Well, you don't know them very well. And so you might put them in the second bucket, which is the relationship you're going to have with them, the outreach you're going to make to them is getting to know them. And so what does that look like? Well, what if it just looked like you started a message campaign that said, I don't know, one comes to mind, like I'm pretty involved in the company promptings that, formerly known as send out cards. And their marketing theme, their mission statement, their strategy for getting people to use cards is gratitude challenges. They're just all about gratitude. And it's really smart play, right? So, you know, you could reach out to all these people you don't know that well and just, you know, tell them something you're grateful for and about them, right? Not just in general. And just tell them, hey, you know, I'm expanding my network. I'm on a mission to get to know people I don't know that well better. And would you tell me your story? And so just ask questions, right? The building relationship lands squarely in asking questions and listening intently to the answer. That is the most powerful relationship building tool you have. Just be curious. Don't think about what questions to ask. Don't think about strategy. Just be curious. And what questions do you ask people? Well, if you were standing in front of them and you were curious about them, what would you ask them? You might ask them, well, you know, tell me where you live. And they give you a name of a town and you don't know it. Well, tell me about that town. What's it close to? Like, how far is the nearest airport? Whatever. Just, okay, now I kind of got a sense of where you live. And then, you know, what draws you to that place? Is it family? Is it work? Is it like random? How did you end up there? Why are you there? What's there for you? You learn a lot about where people live, about who they are and what's important to them. There's actually two things that you can learn about that'll tell you almost everything you need to know about somebody. What do they do for a living and where do they live? That'll tell you probably 75% that you need to know about anybody. What they do for a living gives you a clear insight into their relationship with money. How important is money to them versus lifestyle or versus pursuing a passion? And, you know, that plays into how you might approach them with Manatech. So if you can just step back and visualize, I got two kinds of prospects. You don't have to put them in buckets. You can just make that decision when you see them on your list. Okay, this is somebody I know well enough just to ask. This is somebody I need to ask, hey, we don't know each other very well. I'm curious. Tell me about your company. You know, maybe you have a company name on their, you know, they're like, they work for some company that's in your contacts, but you really don't know what the company does. Of course, you could look it up, but better, just ask them, tell me about your company or tell me about what you do. And then the most important thing, if you watch the cartoon I posted, is don't turn a relationship building relationship into a pivot to prospect, which is, you know, hey, how's it going? You know, how was your summer vacation? How are the wife and kids? You know, and, you know, blah, 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 blah. And then right in the middle of the conversation, you're like, oh, by the way, do you keep your income options open? What you did by that pivot is you just destroyed all the authenticity of being curious about them, and they know it. So when you're building relationship with somebody, stick with building the relationship. And then that begs the question, okay, well, if I do that, when do I ask them to take a look at Manatech? Simple answer. When they ask you to. Huh? Yeah, I guarantee you. Guarantee you. In fact, go practice it and then bring it back here. Just stay in curiosity with somebody. Ask them any question that comes to mind. Pay very close attention to the answer. Keep it up. And within 5 minutes, 15 minutes, they will tell you exactly why you should introduce Manatech to them, either product or money. They'll tell you about kids going to college they can't afford. They'll tell you about parents they need to support they can't afford. They'll tell you about some ailment they have. They'll tell you something. And then when they ask you to ask them, that's by posing an unsolvable problem to you, you can just say, well, you know, I need to know, I know exactly how you can solve that. Want to know? And 100% of the time, they're going to say yes. 100% of the time. Why? Because now you're prospecting. Your prospecting is, I know exactly how you can solve that problem. Your prospecting is like tuned into their DNA. You know how you can just take a whole bunch of nutritional supplements, but you might be smarter to do a DNA analysis and then run all your product preferences through what does your DNA say you need? Or what does your blood analysis say you need versus what you thought you might want to buy from a commercial? Does that make sense? You can watch TV or, watch the internet or social media and go, oh, I need some of this. I need some of that. I need some of this. I need some of that. And you can buy all that stuff, or you can go do a full-on blood panel and then have a functional doctor tell you, well, or you can have AI tell you, well, based on this analysis of your blood, this is what you need, right? So it is a pinpoint, targeted, personalized prospecting conversation when somebody tells you, well, we got the 3 teenage daughters, Mary, Betty, and Sally, and, they're doing really good in school. Well, they say school. I'm going to ask, where are they going to go to college? And, if they say, well, they're going to go here, and they all got full ride scholarships. Okay, nothing there. Just keep asking, keep listening. But if they say, well, they want to go here, and here, but what's the but? Oh, those are expensive. We're going to have to get scholarships, and I don't know if we can get some. Oh, they just asked me to ask them. Now, I don't have to ask them right then, right? That's kind of like the fish, nibbled on the bait. You don't have to set the hook first nibble. Why? Well, because now the fish likes the bait. So just keep being curious, keep learning about somebody, and pretty soon they're going to swallow the hook. Why? Because like Al said, everybody needs something. There's very few people, like maybe 5% of the population that doesn't have an ailment that's bugging them that they've not been able to solve. And there's only about 5% of the population that has deluded themselves into thinking they're okay financially. And I say deluded because they've not run a model of where they're going to be when they're 80 years old and how they're going to afford to live for another 20 years. Because any of us that are 60, 70 years old, every year you and I live longer gives the medical and scientific community another year to solve the problems that would have killed us. Every year you and I live longer adds another year to our life. Most of us, I'm 70. So if you're 70 or below and you're in pretty good health, you're probably going to live to be 100. If you're like 50 or younger, you're probably going to live to be 105, 110. If you're in your 30s, you better plan on 120. Huh? Yeah, science, medical, it's going to cure everything, prevent everything, right? I mean, already half of us are bionic. How many of you have an artificial hip or knee? Nobody? I mean, it's pretty darn common, right? You can go get a new hip and be walking 6 hours later. We're bionic already. How about teeth? 100 years ago, if you had a bad tooth, they pulled it out, right? And after pulling out about 6 of those, you can't eat very well. You can't process nutrition. More people died from gum disease 100 years ago than anything else. Today, they'll give you implants in 24 hours. You got a brand new, $1 million smile. That's going to add 20, 30 years to people's lives. My point is, even the 5% who think they're well off, they've not done the math of how they're going to afford to live as long as they're going to live. They're not planning for it. But the 95%, they're not even close, right? And they know it. And so you just wait for people to tell you what their problem is, and then your targeted prospecting conversation is, I know exactly how you can solve that. Do you want to see it? They're going to say yes. and then you show it to them. So if you segment people in those two buckets, folks, who do I know well enough to just ask so I can keep my pace of play up? Because if you don't do that, you're going to end up sponsoring maybe one person a month and you'll get no momentum. You won't build anything. You got to be on a pace of play of 2, 3, 4 people a month to get momentum. And so you might say, well, okay, well, I don't know enough people that well. Well, then you need to get in networking mode, right? That's why they call it network marketing, is because we're supposed to be meeting people and putting them in the top of our funnel and shake that funnel until we get to know them well enough that we can ask them to take a look. So if you only have 300 or 400 or 500 people in your phone, part of your job every day is to be out meeting people. I don't mean in a grocery store or the mall. Best way to do it today is online. Just meet people, start conversations, get to know them, add them to your conversations. But back to what Al was talking about. Those of us that have done really well in network marketing have done something that almost everybody in network marketing has not done. And I don't know why. I was on a rant yesterday with my coaching group. And you probably have seen this quiz, right? So here, I'll give you the quiz. Put in the chat. Get ready to type in the chat. Get your keyboard ready. Type in the chat. I'm going to give you 3 numbers in sequence. You give me the 4th number. I'm going to give you 3 numbers in sequence. You give me the 4th number. 3927. 3927. What's the next number? Put it in the chat. 3927. Thank you, Shane. Al, of course. Shane, weren't you in the rant yesterday? Nice work. Okay, here's your next quiz. 41664. 41664. Next number. Oh, Shane, you got a typo there. Kevin, you can't guess. Geez, math is not like a guessing about.
Hey, when you get to 250, you just round. Then you go to 1,000.
Okay, Tanya, Juanita, that's a guess. That's not math. Math is not guessing. 256. 1,024. 4,096. 525, 125, 625. What's the next number? 3125. Yesterday, I was coaching people that have been doing network marketing for 20 or 30 years, and they didn't know any of those numbers. I knew 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, and 7s by heart, 5 generations, by my 3rd month in the business 48 years ago. Why? Well, how else are you going to show network marketing to somebody? How else are you going to show them the only part of network marketing that's really valuable? So, you hear a lot about, the gig economy, and network marketing is part of the gig economy, and it's not. It's not at all. Discard that thought. We don't have anything to do with the gig economy. And as long as you play in the gig economy, you'll get crushed. The gig economy is, go drive Uber, make an extra $1,000 a month. Go do DoorDash, make $600-700 a month. Get yourself an Airbnb or something. Go on Etsy and make arts and crafts and sell them. That's the gig economy. Do you know how many gigs there are where you can make $1,000 a month? About 1,000. Unlimited, actually. But I like to use Uber as like the best example. Here's how I make $1,000 a month on Uber. I can be, by the way, a total sloth. I can be 400 pounds and unbathed. I can be in gym shorts and a t-shirt. I can have a 64-ounce big gulp right next to me in the car. And I don't even have to leave my house. I can just go out and sit in the car. I don't have to sit in the car, but I could just sit in the car and just put my phone up. And I got the Uber app on it because I'm a driver. And now I activate the app. That's just a button you push in the app, which says, ready to work. Soon as I do that, within 5-10 minutes, my phone's going to ding. And when it dings, it's going to tell me where to go. Not just the address, it's going to actually give me turn-by-turn directions. Like, turn right out of your driveway. Go a quarter of a mile, then turn left. And as I'm doing all that, up ahead, turn right, turn left, go 2 miles. You are at your destination. I stop, put it in park. Somebody already knows my car and my license plate number. They see the Uber sign in the windshield. What do? What do you do when you get an Uber? How many of you ever gotten in an Uber and you're on a phone call? You just get in the car and sit down, right? Once you're in the back seat, what does the driver do? Where do I go now? Follows their phone. When they get to where their phone tells them to stop, they put it in park. Do you have like a real deep conversation with your Uber driver when you get out of the car, or do you just get out of the car and go? Right? And then what does the Uber driver do? Wait for the next ding, ding, ding. And when it's over, what do? They go home and they turn off their app and they sit on the couch and watch TV. Now I want you to compare that to being a network marketer, making $1,000 a month. What does it take in network marketing to make $1,000 a month? You got to be all in, right? You got to like buy a product. You got to use a product. You got to get results. And then you got to do the toughest thing in the world, which is go across that barrier, go across that bridge to the unknown of asking your friends and relatives to buy this product from you. Oh, and you got to do a lot of that to make $1,000 a month. Right? Think about a brand new person. What do they have to do to get to $1,000 a month in network marketing? Making $1,000 a month in Uber is 100 times easier, physically, time-wise, and emotionally. 100 times easier. We don't compete in the gig economy, not even close. Stop talking about it. We're our own economy because we have something Uber and none of the other ones have. Do you know what it is? You should know, just like that. What is the one thing that network marketing has as an opportunity that no one else has?
Leveraged income.
Thank you, Kevin, the Robbins family, who, if they all just went and bought big gulps and curled up on the couch for the next 500 years and watched cartoons, would make $100,000 a month or more. Why? Well, because they got 30,000 people selling this product for them. And there's not very many of those 30,000 people that even care what Ray and Kevin are doing. Right? How many of you, before you go out and build your Manitech business, check on Kevin and Ray? Well, what are they doing? Before I get out there and do any hustling, I want to know what Kevin's doing. You know, fortunately, Kevin is out there leading, but he doesn't have to, right? He can just go to the beach. Why? Because network marketing has something nobody else has. And until you and I get masterful at selling that and showing that, you will struggle in network marketing. Why? Because you're just going to end up talking to people about making money. And you're not going to realize that they realize, well, I could just do more of what I'm doing now, right? Look at what people do for a living. Like maybe they're a plumber or a hairdresser or a whatever, right? How many people in their primary occupation could make an extra $500 a month just by working more? Almost everybody. And if they can't because they have some kind of fixed income job, well, they got 1,000 gig things they can go do. But how many people can do this? Work? I don't know. Start with 15 minutes a day. Maybe it expands as you get up to $1,000 a month into an hour a day. And do that for 2 or 3 or 4 years. Longer if you want to make more money. But just say 2 or 3 or 4 years. And make $2,000 a month for the rest of your life, whether you work or not. Where can you do that? I'm not talking about investing $100,000 for that. Maybe you invest $500 or $1,000. I'm not talking about trying to figure it out on your own, because in this model, you have people, everybody, doesn't matter what company you're in. If your company is more than 10 years old and, you know, it's doing more than 50 million a year, everybody that I would ever be talking to has somebody in their upline making $1 million a year, selling the exact same product they're trying to sell and the exact same compensation plan. And all they want to do for free is teach you how to do what they did. Where does that exist in the world? Free mentoring? And I don't mean generic. I mean, hey, I'm making $1 million a year selling the same thing you want to sell. Let me show you exactly how I did it for free. Well, how much does it cost me to get in? Nothing, just be a customer. Huh? Yeah. Well, how many hours a week do I have to work? Well, you can get in momentum in 15 minutes a day. Like, you could get to $500 a month in 15 minutes a day. You could get to $1,000 a month in 30 minutes a day. You could get to $2,000 a month in an hour a day. Huh? Yeah. And do that for 4 or 5 years. And then you get paid for the rest of your life, as long as you pick the right company. Well, how can I get paid for the rest of my life? Well, because network marketing has this rule. This is the thing you should all know that makes us not the gig economy, makes us our own economy. No one can compete with it. What is that thing? Well, whether you give the history or not doesn't matter, but in 1946, California Vitamins changed their direct selling model. I'd give $1 million to be on a fly in the wall when they went through the chaos of coming up with this decision. But they decided that no more would the company appoint sales managers, people that could build sales teams, and no more were there territories. They were going to let everybody be sales managers if they wanted to. How do I become a sales manager if I want to? Just build a sales team, just recruit people. Well, where do I do that? Anywhere you want. Well, what if somebody's next to me doing it? Do it better than them. Everybody, basically customers, every customer can recruit more customers and get paid for that. Now, when I say that to you, most people think linear first generation. Okay, so I can recruit customers and get paid on that. Yeah, but the rule applies to everybody. Yeah, so, well, that means it applies to your customers, right? So if you recruit 10 customers and they can recruit customers, oh, okay, so, okay, they recruit customers, yeah, and then those customers can recruit customers. Yeah, I'm trying to get my head around this. Okay, well, let me help you get your head around it. Let's do it in threes. 3 who get 3 adds 9. Now there's a total of 12. 9 who get 3 adds 27. Now there's a total of 40. 27 who get 3 adds 81. 27 who get 81 who get 3 adds 243. 243 who get 3 is 781, I think. 4 who get 4, 5 who get 5, 7 who get 7. Let me show you how exponential growth works. What are we talking about here? We're talking about compounding. You know, compounded money. Yeah. Well, you know what Einstein said about compounding? How many of you know what Einstein said about compounding? If you don't know it, I'm not even sure how you've made any money in network marketing.
It's
Eighth
the
wonder of
ninth.
the world.
Is it
Einstein
the
said
eighth?
compounding was the eighth wonder of the world.
Mhm.
All these things need to be in your tool belt. All the sequential numbers, the California vitamin story, the distinction in network marketing that what makes us different is every customer can get other customers, which means all customers can get other customers, which means we just introduced a compounding exponential growth rule to how the customer community grows, which is why people, maybe not in Manatech, but I have, well, you know, Al and I are good friends with a guy named Tom Chenault. He has 1.6 million people in his downline. 1.6 million. That's just 35 years of recruiting and recruiting and recruiting and recruiting. You can't do that in a gig economy. You can only do it in network marketing. So all of this to say this, back into here's the punchline. When you start talking to people about making money, the reason you don't get a response is making money lands for them as a equal exchange. I work for $1,000 a month. So you say, I can show you how to make $1,000 a month. You don't get an overwhelming response because they know they have to work for it. And work means they got to give up free time. It's really, really important to people. And if they really wanted to make $1,000 a month, they'd already be making it, doing something. Right? So when you talk to somebody about making extra money and you wonder, well, why do they say they're too busy? Why do they say they don't like to sell? Because they don't want to make $1,000 a month that bad. It's not that they don't want the money. It's they don't want to do the work. And then, you know, of course, if you say selling a product in network marketing, they definitely don't want to do that work. Right? Now you say, well, what about us? How did we hear? We got, almost all of us got backed into this through a product. Somebody said, hey, you got to try this stuff. This will blow your mind. And we tried it and it worked. And then we just sort of, you know, backdoored our way into promoting it. But here's the thing about network marketing. Here's the analogy I'll leave you with. I want you to imagine somebody goes to you and says, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, I want you to quantify your motivation to earn $1,000 a month under the paradigm of, well, you have to do $1,000 worth of work. You know, whatever that is, every month in order to get the $1,000. And if you ever stop working, half stop, full stop, half your money stops or all your money stops, right? Because that's the nature of that paradigm, right? So I want you to quantify on a scale of 1 to 10, how exciting is that for you? But I want you to quantify it compared to this scenario. You get a certified letter in the mail that says you have a long lost great uncle who passed away and left you a $200,000 annuity. What is that? Well, that's basically 200 grand that he parked in an account. He's not giving you the 200 grand, but he's giving you all the income from it. Well, what is that? Well, it's about $1,000 a month. Okay, that's really cool. How long do I get it? How long will the US banking system be in existence? We can debate that. But you could just, for practical purposes, figure forever. Well, what do you mean forever? I mean in perpetuity. What does that mean? Well, that means you get $1,000 a month until you die, and then your spouse gets the same $1,000 a month until she dies or he dies, and then your kids split the $1,000 a month until they die, and then your grandkids get it, and then your great grandkids, and then your great 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 grandkids get it. It's in perpetuity. It's forever. What do I have to do for it? Well, you have to work for your great great uncle 15 minutes, 30 minutes a day for 3 or 4 years. So weigh the two. Which one is more compelling? $1,000 a month you got to work for and you lose it as soon as you stop working, or $1,000 a month you work for 3 or 4 years and it flows into your family in perpetuity. If the $1,000 a month in perpetuity is a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10, what's the $1,000 a month you have to work for and get fired at any moment's notice? What's the comparison? Put it in the chat. Just give me the number of the $1,000 a month you have to work for in comparison to the $1,000 a month you make forever. Give me a number. Do you understand the question? No, Shane. The number I'm asking for is the $1,000 a month you have to work for. On a scale of 1 to 10, yeah, that's probably a more appropriate. In comparison to the $1,000 a month forever. Now you're starting to see something that can move you into being a potent and professional network marketer. Learn to sell the asset income. Learn the rule of 200. Do you know the rule of 200? If you do, type it in the chat. What is the rule of 200? It's another one of those things you just must know. Thank you, Kevin. Has it struck any of you who's getting most of the answers right? This is like who's buried in Grant's tomb. Yeah. So here's what I beg of you to do. We talked about this last week or the week before. Go all pro on the liver. Learn everything you can about the liver. You know, Mary Jo said it to begin with. What does the liver do, right? If you would have asked me 3 months ago, I'd have fumbled through some stupid answer about filters the blood. And that's about as far as I'd get. It filters the blood. And, you know, if you cut a piece off of or it gets damaged, it grows back. Shit, I don't know any more than that, right? Well, if I'm going to try to make $10 or $20 or $30,000 a month selling a liver cleanse, I mean, the answer's kind of obvious, right? I don't deserve to make any money with that answer. I need to know everything about the liver. Not that I need to spew that information to prospects. Of course not. I need it. Just think of it like you're an iceberg, right? What the prospect gets of your knowledge is a tiny, tiny tip. And that's only when needed. But what makes you an immovable object is everything below the water. That's your confidence. That's your steadfastness. That's your lighthouse. The more you know about the liver, cleansing the liver, how the Manitech products work in the liver cleanse, how the liver cleanse works, how many testimonials there are, and have an arsenal of all those testimonials at your fingertips. And the more you know about the asset value, the residual income, if you want to call it that, or leveraged income, whatever you want to call it, right? It's build it once, get paid forever. That's what I call it. Of course, you got to pick the right company. And we know you might have to build it twice. It's possible. You might build it once and somebody screws the whole thing up and quits and they go somewhere. You got to build it again. Why? Why would you build it again? Because it's worth it. Talking about, look at the Robbins family. I don't know about Kevin's grandfather and grandmother. Maybe they had legacy wealth. Maybe. Shake your head, Kevin. Yes or no? No, they didn't. So what Ray and Kevin have done is they've changed the legacy of the Robbins family forever. Kevin, how many brothers and sisters do you have?
One brother, one sister.
So 3 of you, and altogether, how many kids do you have? So grandkids of Ray?
7.
And great-grandkids?
0.
Okay, so you're at, if you think of generations, it's 1, 3, 7. But those 7 are going to turn into 14 to 20. And those 14 to 20 are going to turn into 50 or 60 or 70. If you fast forward 50 years, 100 years. And the Robbins wealth from Manitech, even if it stopped today, I don't know where it all is, but I'm sure a whole bunch of it is rat-holed in real estate and equities. Even if the income stopped today, change the wealth dynamic of that family forever.
Amen.
For the next 1,000 years.
Amen.
In one, not even in one 30-year run, right? It wasn't Ray Robbins' one 30-year run. How many years did Ray Robin put his head down and go like gangbusters? 3, 5? Kevin, do you know?
Well, you know what, Richard, I was going to say, I mean, maybe 20 years, my dad went really hard.
Yeah,
But
I know. He's like the ever-ready bunny. But
I know.
before he had like an unstoppable fountain
probably about
of
3
growth.
years. About 3 years, yeah.
Yeah, that's all it is for anybody.
3 years. I was going to
This is
say,
what
though,
you-
when you started your talk about just being curious about people, if I were to identify one single skill that my dad has that has led to his success,
Yeah.
it is his curiosity when he meets people.
Yep.
When he is in public,
I experienced it myself, Kevin, when I first met him.
when he is in public, he has no agenda when he meets people. He asks them, hey, what do you tick? What do you like to do? He just meets people. He's curious about them. Everything you said about at some point, they will ask you about what you do or tell me more. And people leave that conversation. You won't believe, Richard, you'll believe it, but people here won't. My dad is not the one getting his card out and going, here's my information. People will, as my dad's walking away, they will be giving him, hey, here's my card. Call me. I want more. They're chasing him down the hallway, down the airport, giving them their information because he just was curious about them, said enough that made them curious about what he does. And it's the secret to his success long-term, no doubt.
Yep. And I experienced it when I first met him, and he knew I wasn't a prospect. He just doesn't see people that way. He sees people as curious. He's curious about them. And that distinction, folks, saved me in network marketing. I couldn't recruit my way out of a paper bag because I couldn't stand the thought of telling people what they should do. And that's what recruiting looked like to me. That was the story I had about recruiting. I had to do 2 things if I was going to recruit people. One, I had to interrupt them. That's how I saw it. So even if you're somebody I know or you're somebody I don't know, if I'm going to recruit you, I have to interrupt you. And I have to start talking about something that's in my interest but I have to position it as though it's in your interest. But my story was, well, I'm doing this for me, right? Yeah, I know conceptually it's a gift and I'm doing it for you. And, well, actually, bullshit. I was doing it for me, right? And I just struggled with that. And then when it came to money, like the whole, like, you should do this, you should make more money, I just could hardly get the words out of my mouth. And for 2.5 years, I starved to death until I got the distinction. Well, what if you just learned about people and then see what they want to do? And oh my God, I mean, it's just absolute magic, just absolute magic. And it worked for me naturally because I was always naturally curious about people. I loved learning their stories. So I just went that direction and paid off big time. I probably went longer than you wanted me to, Al, now that I noticed
That
the
was a
clock.
very
It's-
long answer to that question, but boy, you dropped some real good stuff. So I hope everybody got that. You were going to be the closing speaker, so obviously you were the opening speaker.
I'll be the opening, you be the closer.
So Mary Jo and I, so I think it fits perfectly because at the end of the day, I mean, I think it's about your belief system as you go into this process of duplicating yourself. And I think Richard, you gave them a whole lot more than I could have fathomed. So I think this is great. And we like to get into now maybe a little bit more of the nitty-gritty because now we want to look at how do we take this reset program and how do we start creating this consistency, starting with the 4 to 5 shares a day, right? What would that be like? What does it need to look like? What are the tools we already have? What can you share? And then how do we take that into the next step? So that's what we're going to do now. And then help you with whatever, I think the biggest part here is going to be you literally getting your 3 or your 5. You got to build that confidence somehow because that's the confidence you're going to be able to duplicate with the people that you're bringing on. Because if it's 3 who gets 3, who gets 3, who gets 3, or 4 who gets 4, who gets 4, well, you got to really get good at figuring out the first 4, right? So let's just go through that process. And Richard, I don't know if you're going to be sticking around, but you
Yep,
can
I
jump
am.
in at any point in time.
Let me see.
Mary
Let me
Jo,
see.
I'm going to skip the part about the state of the middle class because I think we've covered that. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys understand that motivation is there. The people are looking, but boy, the distinction that you made today, it's something that I would say for me was new information. It's not that people don't want to make $1,000 a month. People don't want to work the way they imagine work, right, Mary Jo? When they look at it linearly, because anybody could get an Uber app and go make $1,000 if they really want. If they wanted to make $1,000, what they don't want to give up is the number of hours they're going to have to stay in that car and everything. It's their work-life balance. It's all those things that keeps them from going that direction. Holy mackerel. Did you get that distinction, guys?
Huge.
Mhm.
Because once you get that distinction, then you're not selling the income. You got to sell the process. And the process is, and the real proposition is leveraged income.
Right.
Right. And the residual income. And then you throw on that the uncle annuity, story, and it's like makes total sense. I don't know if you guys feel this way. This changes everything.
Does.
Does that make sense? So Richard, thank you for that. I mean, that I have to say that was new for me, that I had never seen it that way, and it will impact how I sell the concepts and which concepts do we need to sell. So Mary Jo, do you want to get then started? Let's talk about the sales process, right? We already talked about the 5 reach outs per day.
Yep.
Who here is, who's doing 4 to 5 reach outs per day right now?
Wait, Al, can I ask a different question?
Yeah.
Who is having success with what they're sending on the 4 to 5 reach outs a day with their languaging?
Well, I want to know how many are doing it.
Yeah, then that
Then
part 2
Those
is,
that are doing it, part 2 is, how successful are you with your reach outs? Because if we get very granular here, if you're doing 4 to 5 reach outs and you're not getting any response, stop. I think that's where you're going, Lydia, right?
that's
Stop.
exactly where I'm going.
Don't do it for a month and then go, well, I just reached out to 100 some people. I know a good friend of mine who would love to do that. I mean, just, well, look, I did this number. I did this number. I did this number. Great. Okay. So did you get any response? No, but I'm still doing the numbers. Stop. Come back to the team, come back to the coach and go, look, I've done this for 2-3 days. I'm not getting any responses. What's going on? What do I need to change? What, and then we need to say, okay, show us what you're sending. But clearly right now, I think, so Mary Jo, you're sponsoring people. Let's talk about reach outs. What are we saying to people when we reach out to them? And Richard, feel free to jump in here as well, because that's where we got to start this process.
One of the things I love so much about the liver cleanse is it's something new. So a lot of us, I see faces here, I've seen it with Manatech since I started, which is, back in my teens. No, I feel that way. But the idea is that you have a liver cleanse that you're talking about, right? And if you focus, I don't know are you all focusing on the liver cleanse? Raise your hand if you're focusing on liver cleanse right now. And you're kind of leaving Ambertoast by the side because we done the 8 essential saccharides for 8,000 years, right? So liver cleanse. So what makes the game so much fun is you have something substantive that has direct results. With Ambertoast, we couldn't guarantee a result. Does everybody agree with that? And then we had people who took it for a month or 2 and they said, I don't see any difference. And you're like going, some people it takes 6 months. We got to do a cleanse here. We got to get rid of all the stuff that's screwing up your body. But with the liver cleanse, you're getting rid of the gunk and the stuff, right? I mean, there's a more immediate response, which is why I believe the liver cleanse is the best thing since sliced bread for us, because we get responses from people. And that's the beauty. You can all look back at the people you've gotten started. What are you seeing from them? I don't know anyone who hasn't lost weight. And as Mary Jo says, it's not a weight loss program. Your body is cleansing your body of fat that's stored in different places in your body that just is not serving you. Got it? That's why you're seeing shifts in your body and your look and all these kind of things. That's what's going on for you. You're also cleansing the most important organ in your body. And as Richard said, you have to have some specifics about the importance of the liver with every person you talk to. You make your list. I put out a laundry list on a Mail about 3 months ago. I think the people in my organization got that. But I mean, the list goes on forever, but you choose on that list what you think is most important, what you think would trigger somebody's interest the most. But you've got to have 4, 5, 6 different things right off the top of your head that you're bringing into every conversation about why it's so critical. And here's the other bit of information. You don't want to wait till something goes wrong. This isn't the fear of missing out, it's the fear of missing life. Difference. Why do I want to wait till something goes wrong? And then I'm thrown into medical industrial complex and I can be in the hospital for 6 months. I can be on 6 more prescription drugs. Is that what you want to see with yourself when you have the power to help that organ today? Yeah, go ahead.
I want to get granular because I think everybody here is, I'm sure they're convinced about the liver because they've already done it. So if I was going to start my 5 on Monday, right? So let's talk to this. If I was going to start, if I haven't been consistent with my, four, let's call it 4 asks a day,
Or
and I'm going to start on Monday to do 4 asks. What do I need to do today?
well, first of all, you got to, who are the people I'm going to ask?
Okay, so who are the people I'm going to ask? So
Don't wait till Monday to figure out who you're going to ask. Do it today. In fact, you all
Today.
should have, when you kick
Can.
off your week on Sunday, you should have a plan. What am I going to do the next 7 days? Who are the 5 people I'm going to hit for the 7 days?
So, and I would recommend you have a list of at least your first week. So that means
35.
first 25 to 30 people that are going to be on your list. And so let's open it up a little bit. Amanda, when you are thinking about reaching out to people about Deliver, who are the people on your list? Who are you thinking about? Sorry,
Hey,
Amanda.
Amanda's muted. Hey, Al, while we're waiting for Amanda to get unmuted and join us again, I've had people that I'm just around on my normal activities who are saying, Lydia, what did you do to your eyes? The white of your eyes are so white and your eyes are so blue. So there's where I have people that's already talked to me because of the physical changes.
But
that
what
they've
you're saying,
seen.
you don't even have to reach out because people are reaching out to you, seeing the difference in you.
And then I just did another Instagram video where I just talked my results. I have 15 people now who requested information.
All right. So, and I know a lot of you have done your videos. You've put the videos out there. Some of you have had some reaction. Maybe I'll ask Derek. Derek, you did a great video. Did you get reactions to your video?
Hey, Al. Yes, I did. And so they do want more information. And it's a little slow. I don't know why. But I mean, they keep asking. It's like it's just like bait. They're kind of nibbling away. And and I'm trying not to throw too much out. I'm trying to listen more to exactly what they're looking for.
Okay. So if they've seen your video,
Wait,
and
wait,
they've
wait.
already
He's
acknowledged-
trying to find out what they're looking for, Al. What are you waiting for them to tell you what?
Well,
they're-
no, I'm sorry, I take the back. I do ask them what.
Okay, because it's not what they're looking for, it's what we have to offer, right?
Right.
Right.
or it is what about my story impacted you the most? What about my story made sense to you? What about my story you connected with? I mean, so we shouldn't be, I mean, Derek, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but
No, it's fine.
we're in a safe space here, right? So you got a video out there because that's one of the ways, right? You put your story out there, and now people are reacting to your story. Everybody who put a like on it, immediately, did you reach out to them and go, hey, you know what? Thank you for liking my story. This was an amazing journey. I can't believe how good I feel. What about my story? Connected with you.
I did
For
some of that,
every
but
single one- but this in this case, guys, for every one of you that's put in the video, what I notice about people that are really professionals in this space, this is what they do. They answer they pick up on every reaction they get.
Mhm.
This is called being intentional. This is called, there's fishing and there's waiting for the fish to jump on a boat. If you're fishing, then you got to be, putting that thing out there all the time. So you got already a group of people that are reacting to what you're saying. That's your first group to go to. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
And
So
what's the reason for it, Al? Why do they respond?
right. Why do they respond? What
It's
connected with
algorithm.
them? Right. And then if it's algorithm, maybe they already had an interest. Have you had an interest on about the liver in a past? Good question, right? And they can answer yes. What about the liver is you most concerned about? And then they'll give you another. So It's engaging with every single person who reacted to your story. That's going to be the difference this weekend compared to the last couple of weeks. You're not waiting for them to ask you the question, because they probably never ask you the question, but they like something about your story. Richard, does that make sense? Is that?
Yeah, totally.
The other, let me just
Go
throw
ahead,
this in.
Mary Jo.
The other thing I might do is that if you've already posted a couple times, you want to get off this Zoom meetup with almost 40 people and you're going to go, wow, I just got off. You've got to make it bigger than you. So make sure people are seeing that the impact is happening all over the world. This is bigger than you, and it's incredible the changes people are talking about in their lives just by something as simple as a liver cleanse. And so now you've got the simple in there, you've got massive people are getting involved. So the person that's responding to you doesn't think, am I the only one that might be interested in this? You get it?
I think pointing out the fact that there's that you and hundreds of other people have really gotten these amazing results creates social proof.
Yes.
Rich, you were going to say?
Well, I think, generally all this is on track with, learning the art of asking questions. And I would just like to see us narrow it down to like, okay, are you going to focus on prospecting people you already know? Or are you going to focus on prospecting people you don't know? Or are you going to do both? Both of these are different coaching conversations. So if you're prospecting people you already know, here's what I suggest you do as a format. Send a very brief text message. I'll give you an example of it in the chat. Very brief. Do not tell them what the product is. Do not tell them the brand. The ask is for them to watch a video. If you're promoting the cleanse, the only thing you should send them is the video we produced for you to send prospects about the cleanse. That is the sizzle video for the cleanse. It is 8 or 10 people, rapid fire testimonials, and the call to action is, do you want to know more? In about 10 days, you'll have a brand new version of that is more Caucasian. Curzon one slants towards Latino, but it still works, right? They're just people. And it doesn't matter if they're Latino or not, but you'll have another one. If you keep it very simple too, my job is to craft the ask. The video's job is to sell them on wanting more information. That's not my job. As soon as you get into the role of selling, for 95% of us, you're just not qualified. You listen to Mary Jo or Lydia or Al, and you may go, I don't know. You know why? Because you haven't been studying and practicing doing that for 30 years. That's why it sounds overwhelming. Don't try to go there. Right? What your mission here is traction, right? You're not trying to become a professional recruiter or salesperson right now. You're trying to get momentum. You all would probably all be ecstatic if you just had momentum. What is momentum? You have more going on than you can keep track of. You have more no's, more maybes, more yeses that you haven't actually nailed down to a schedule, more people you've presented to that haven't actually enrolled even though they said they would, and more people who have enrolled. Chaos.
Yeah.
That's momentum.
So, Richard, if we're going to get granular, though, I think it's probably a good question. Do you feel like you have that initial text message that you can send
right now?
Or do you, or is that something you need? And I think, Richard, you said you're going to send it to everybody.
I'm putting it in the chat right now. And then I'll explain why I craft it this
All
way.
right. So guys, we're making the sausage together as we go, because you know what? At the end of the day, it's the collective intelligence here that's going to work, because what we want is we want to leave today and start next week with a very different activity intensity.
Al,
Is
not
that-
next week. We're going to start later today.
No. I'm just saying, I'm saying you're going to prepare this weekend. You're going to jump on, I'm assuming you're starting on Monday. If I was you, yeah, start today, but let's prepare ourselves. So number one, you got the right script. First of all, you're segmenting your groups. So Derek, you have your group of people that are nibbling at your, what you got out there at your video. And then you got the people that like, my daughter, we had a short conversation. She really thought she could make money with this. So I'm sending her information that, about how she's going to make money on this. But because I know her, I've had the conversation, I know what she wants. So I'm being very direct with her about what she needs to do next. So we got the people that we know, and we're going to send them this very short text, right? And it's going to come with a video. They're going to watch the video, right? And then what happens next? So what do you think happens next? You just sent a video to somebody right? After you had a short text, messaging with them, then what? And you can unmute yourself, guys, and let's make this interactive. Then what? What are we going to do next?
I'd suggest invite them to the onboarding on Thursday night call.
Okay. So
If they're seriously interested, yeah.
Well,
Okay,
how do you
so
know
you-
Thursday night?
Said Shirley, you're making an assumption there. You have
Yeah.
to have some kind of conversation with them. Does this make some sense?
Absolutely. And I assume that's what we're
But
at
Al,
that stage now.
What is that
Yeah.
conversation, right, Al? You're asking, what
Right.
does that follow-up call sound like?
So, hey, did you watch well, first of all, did you watch the video?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, now, of course, if we send it with Manago, we probably know if they watched the video or not. And then the next thing is like, okay, what did you like about the video? What kind of, what more do you,
Write
what
that
kind
down.
of
Al,
information?
everybody write that down, because these people are
Right.
still asking that question, what did you think about it? Stop that. What did you like about
Right.
it? You are aiming their thinking process, what they liked about it. What did you find interesting about it? What did you learn? You're keeping it positive. When you go, so what did you think about it? You're opening it up to, well, I've seen that before, blah, 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 blah. I don't know what they want to think. I want to know what they liked about it.
Okay, great distinction, right?
Yep.
What did they like about it? They tell you, and most likely what you want them to, ask for is more information. What we do have in terms of information, okay, so first the sizzle video, step one, conversation, then we go into step two. What does step two look like? Number one, Richard, our new video should be pretty much ready, right? We can start sending that out.
It's ready. Yep.
Al, did you
Because
send it to me yet so I could post it?
I don't know if I've gotten the latest version yet, but let's say we get the latest version, we put it out there today, right? Yeah, Richard, I don't know if I don't know if they sent it out yet with the finished.
Okay, I'll find out.
But as soon as we have it, we give it to you. That's a great informational video you can send. Two is we have Mary Jo's 8-minute video, no, 16-minute meeting on the liver program that's already in Manago. So that, depending on if you think they're people who love more information, send them the 16-minute. If they people that leave less information, give them the 8-minute. The 8-minute should be really our standard default video that we can send them. And if it's somebody who wants even more information, you can send them the 16-minute video.
Hey, Al, there has been some issues I've heard from people using Manago that they are not getting notified when somebody watches a video.
Okay.
So that's just an FYI. So make sure you still follow, even if you didn't get a notice they watched it, follow up with these people.
Follow up. Follow up, follow up, follow up. Guys, I want us to move from let's wait for them to react to we're going to be proactive. Because we've already made a case for the importance of the liver, changing people's lives. How many lives have been changed already? We know all of that. We also know that as they come into this funnel, the next big thing they're going to discover is that they might, this model could be the ultimate model for them to really create the freedom and everything else they're looking for, which they may not know they're even looking for yet. But we bring them through the product, and then eventually I think we're going to find our way into them discovering that there is even more to this. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Well, and
now I think one of the
aspect,
biggest
Al, the other aspect too is if a lot of you don't follow up, you wait for a week or something like that. What you're screaming at them is, "You're not important to me." When you wait a week or 2 weeks to follow up with somebody, you're telling them they're not important to you. Is that the message you want to send? You want to show your excitement about how you just know that you know, with all the testimonials going on, how this could really impact their life. And I couldn't help it, but I wanted to follow up to see if you had a chance. You could premise your follow-up on that language, that they're important to you. Otherwise,
And you
it
have
looks
a fiction
just
about what you have
get
in your
out to
hand.
a million people and you could care less. You'll get to them when you get to them. You don't want to send that inappropriate message.
All right. Kevin?
Well, I was just gonna say, I think one of the biggest tools that's out there that for me, for just telling people like, hey, I don't have all the answers, is the WhatsApp support groups. Is to say, man, we got support groups that can answer all of your questions, that can really help you through the whole program. Again, whether they're in Manatech or outside of Manatech, that support group has been just phenomenal.
So
All
you're
right.
putting prospects are all going in there?
There's an info group that's more
yeah.
for the prospects. Once they decide to get the kit, that's when they go over to the support group.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
So-
we have a business builder
prospect
group
We're still
where
at
I
the
just put Richard's 2 messages in there.
Okay. So if this is somebody I know, this is a friend of mine. Again, if that's the crowd, I don't have a problem putting them in there just to go check this out. I mean, there is just a ton of stuff in there. I would get them into the community. I would get them watching and seeing what's going on, because they're my friend. They're not gonna, nobody's gonna sponsor them away from me or whatever. But I think that group does bring a little bit of the credibility and the social proof. So, anyways, I mean, I think all those things are good. I mean, is this creating more questions for you? Are you getting clarity? Joan, how are you feeling about this? Is that good?
Yeah.
Shirley, is this making sense? Yeah. Shane?
So I really appreciate the instructions. So I'm using my, we've got to create what we're creating and follow a system that's going to work and produce. So I want to produce too, and yeah, for sure. So a action for getting people to have a look, and then actually caring for them enough to get interested more into them, so it's a process. It's a learning curve, and I'm thank you for pushing forward.
And Shane, let me tell you the best way you're going to learn: by falling on your face a few times.
Yeah.
So let's not be afraid to, put the messages out there, guys. Don't, what Mary Jo said, what people think about you is none of your business. You're going to go through the process, caringly, everything else, but you're going to learn a lot just from doing these things and following up with these people. And you're going to find out that more people are interested than you think they are if you stay with it, because remember, their life, there's a lot of things going on in their life, and they're not, thinking about their liver as much as you are. So you got to be the one who keeps bringing it up until it the penny drops, right? And you get them where you want them to be because, again, as Mary just said, you care for them enough to interfere in their lives.
Yeah, and don't try to be the genius around this too. That's what so many people we get. I get phone calls from people. Well, Mary Jo, I don't know enough. You know enough. You've seen the results. All you have to do is say, "Hey, I'm a novice at this myself, but when I learned about the critical nature of our liver, nothing was going to stop me from taking care of my liver."
Okay, so
Something like that. So you don't have to be an expert. You don't, so many of you restrain yourself because you don't have all the answers. If people ask you a tough question, you say, that's a great question. Let me get back to you. You don't have to be the Encyclopedia Britannica.
And that's why we have the group. So Ross Marie's always in there answering the questions immediately.
Yeah.
But Al, I do have to, because I know Shane, you've been doing some videos on Facebook, which are great. But the next thing I'm going to make a suggestion is for you to put the captions on the videos, especially if you're doing on social, because 90% of the people have volume off when they're on social media.
It's great advice for everybody here, Lydia.
okay.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions, Shane, on how to do that, I'm sure Lydia will help you with that.
Yeah.
All right, so we're getting through that, the top of the funnel stuff, right? Because this is where it's got to start, guys. I mean, if we're not doing these things here, the rest is not going to happen, or it's going to happen really, really slow. My urging to you guys is, you want more speed in your business. You want more things happening. To get to that momentum, that Richard's talking about. There's got to be enough numbers going on. All right. So we've identified. You got to make a list. You got to separate a list. Those that you know, those that you don't know, but those that you don't know are people that are probably coming to your social feed, right? And how to keep the questions going. We know what to send them first. We got the first text. We have the sizzle video, and once they've watched the sizzle video, because you're going to find out did they watch it or not, and you're going to keep asking until they tell you, or you're going to know they watched it because hopefully Manago is working. Then we're going to go into the next bit of information, which is video number 2, right? So we now just sent them video number 2, right? We now send them video number 2, 8-minute. What is the program? How does the program work? What do we do next now? They got the video. They got the second video. What do we do next?
I say, when are you going to get started?
Okay, when do you want to get started?
When do you want to get started? I don't ask them if they're interested. Are you interested in doing this? No, I ask the question. So when do you want to get started? I can get the package.
You want to get started? Okay. And this is when they're going to probably ask you, well, how much is it? Well, they probably know from the video, but yeah, maybe not.
Respond to how much is it? I say, well, let me talk about how free it is for you because of your limitation on you're not going out to meals at restaurants, you're not eating all the things that you're not stopping at Dairy Queen and all the special. I said, you're going to be changing your diet so dramatically during this 21-day cleanse that I guarantee you, when you look at the end of 21 days, you're going to virtually have made money on this program.
Okay, so now we're dealing with the price objection. The first thing I'm going to say, one, don't expect a price objection. Although we're talking about it, we want to get you prepared for it. Don't expect it. Go in there assuming, right? Just like we just said, hey, when do you want to get started? Are you ready? Or even better, are you ready to get started now? We have an amazing promotion this month. Manatech is giving you an extra $100 coupon for products until the end of this month. Are you ready to get started now? So we can, make sure you take advantage of that $100 coupon. Is that a good? Yeah. I mean, urgency. I even did that with my daughter. Didn't work last month. Hopefully it worked this month. But it's like, hey, there's $100 on the table. If you're going to get started, now is a good time to get started because,
Al, can I throw this in here? Let me just
Yeah.
throw this. I don't like the concept of, oh, there's $100 promotion, blah, blah, because I think now it sounds a little promote-y. It's kind of like, oh, they're setting me up. I like to say, and you know what I just discovered? I just found out that they happen to be running a special promo right now. So it's instead of, it's
okay. And Mary, that's a style thing. It's a headset thing. I would have no problem saying hey, there's a promo, let's go for it. You know, if you feel like you want to, you know, go around it, that's okay too. I
Okay.
mean, it's all your personality. My personality is a little bit more, yeah, will be a little bit more direct. I don't want to overthink it too much. I just
Yeah.
want to say, look, you know, I want you to start now. And what's the reason to start now? Look, the company is actually doing a special in this month, you know, and now, like I said, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. It didn't work with my daughter. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's
Hey, now
it's-
Ross Marie had a great thing. She says next group starts Monday.
yeah,
This
next
way that
group
gives
starts
them a sense
Monday.
of urgency.
Okay, that's a great one. And by the way, Rose, you can you know, turn your mic on and jump on anytime. Guys, wait, this is interactive. We, you know, we don't want to preach at you. We want to come to the thing together so you feel like, you know, you're part of this process, because you are. Right. So Rose, you can jump in anytime. Be glad to hear from you. So the next group starts Monday. I love that. That's great language. The next group starts Monday. Can we get you on on that group? Now they may not have their products though by Monday. So
Tell the person that wants to get started Tuesday.
okay,
They
so
have to wait a
but
week.
no,
Well,
yeah, no,
even if they don't have products, I just say it because we're not starting new groups on Monday. It's just the way that I get them on. Then they'll say,
mhm,
"Oh, I got it." Like if it's on a Thursday, say, "Okay, then at least 3 days." And I'm like, "Well, I'll put you in the chat anyway once you've decided and they've ordered." And then they're gonna start seeing everybody putting in their recipes while their stuff comes in. But I
okay.
always say the Monday thing because it's just
And
it's a
I love
good
the
day to
language.
start. Yeah.
I started on a Friday. It didn't work for me.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Your
it's great
analyst
language.
fun.
Again, let's go back to what Mary Jo was saying. Let's create a sense of urgency. Guys, let's create a sense of urgency. You guys know the sooner they get on it, the better they're going to feel, the faster they're going to get well, the more, yeah, everything, all the good things are going to happen to them sooner than later. Now, some of you are going to get this because I've gotten this 2-3 times already. Well, this Thanksgiving is coming. Is this a good time to start this? Absolutely. Okay, so what would be your best reasons why people should start now before Thanksgiving? What do you think that would be? Anybody has a thought on that?
Well, mine would be, why would you want to even do more damage to your liver over the Thanksgiving dinner because you're not educated enough to know what's really healthy for what your liver needs?
Yeah. So look, this is not a weight loss program.
Your
It's a
health
liver
serious
detox.
you want to continue to put it off. Because the minute if they say Thanksgiving coming, what are they going to tell you after Thanksgiving's over? Well, Christmas is coming. Is it a good time to start now? So then they'll tell you, okay, first of the year I'll do this. Well,
Yeah. So when is a good time? Now is a good time. It's always a good time now. Your liver needs help now. And if you're going to be stuffing it even more during Thanksgiving, help the sucker up. I mean, help it out, before you get into this thing. Help your liver.
and Al, here's another thing. What a great thing for you to be on the liver cleanse, show up for Thanksgiving, and you can open the door to the possibilities to all your family and friends that are at the Thanksgiving dinner or what you're doing.
Correct. Okay.
Them all started after their Thanksgiving dinner.
We got that. What other type of response do you feel you need an answer to? Well, we know about the price one. Okay, so again, we're not going to assume there's going to be a price one because what's the price of your liver? If your body was a business, how much would your liver be worth? A lot more than $3.99, that's for sure. 2, it's only $19 a day. 3, it's $7.50 a day for the meals compared to $14 going to McDonald's. One trip to McDonald's will set you back $14-15. One trip to Starbucks will set you back $13 to $14. One trip to Chick-fil-A will set you back $12 to $13. So it's half of that. So you will be saving money in your groceries, but more than that, you're going to have a peace of mind about not having to worry about what to cook. Apparently, women in general love to not have to be thinking what to make every day. Not a problem I've had, but I understand that people are loving the simplicity of that, just knowing this is what I'm going to eat for the next 10 days. All right, what else? Is there anything else you think would get in the way of them just getting started?
Well, certainly
you heard-
people have asked about the link. 21 days sounds like a long time. Now, I've heard you, I know what the answer is, but I think that's what comes up commonly is 21 days feels like a long time.
So what do you answer to that, Kevin?
Well, really, the reset's 10 days.
Right.
And
I mean,
the main part of the reset is 10 days, and then after that is just
Kevin's been
rejuvenation.
training.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the other thing is like, look, how long have you been running a liver? 60 years, right? You think 21 days is too long to reset it? Yeah. Or do you believe in, magical potions and silver bullets? No, because there's a lot of people out there promoting the one product that if you just take this, you're gonna be all set. No, that's bull crap. I mean, I'm not, and they know that. So say, look, you've been around, you know how that works. There's no silver bullet. If you had your liver for the last 50 years and you've been stuffing it with all kind of stuff and it's running sluggish and you're feeling this, and this, it's gonna take some time. But by the way, the 21 is really a 10-day intensive, and then the other 11 days we're rejuvenating or whatever. Yeah, what's the word we use?
Restoration mode.
Restoration mode for your liver. Yeah, it's a restoration mode for your liver. All right, so if that's the case, then we're putting them on immediately in the community, as Rose said, and then we are sending them. I'm going to send you a link so you can buy it. And by the way, there's going to be a survey that will come out, and when you fill out the survey, you're going to get $100 into your account for future spending, courtesy of Manatech. All right. I know we're 3 minutes from the end here, but I hope we have a plan, at least for this next couple of weeks. What are we going to do different, and how we're going to convert our amazing stories into now a business model. And we are okay with the fact that we are running a business. We're not just running a little gig here. We're running a business, and we need to make sure the first circle works. That's you. And that's you either getting customers or you actually bringing people on. And by the way, when they buy it, when they're ready to buy, or once they bought it, depending on what you know about them, it's like, this is the time to talk about, for an extra $1, I'm going to put you in a place where you actually will be able to get your products, paid for. And we can talk about that later. You don't want to confuse, you don't want to add too many things to that decision. Let them make that decision. They've made the decision. They got the credit card. We're ready to go. Hey, look, for an extra $1, you're going to have a chance to actually get your thing back. I'll talk to you more about that after we get started, right? But so now you actually just recruited a new associate. You just recruited a new associate. And that's exciting. That's really exciting. So right now we're really concerned about making the first circle work. The first circle is you. Derek, what would it take this month, your November to remember? How many customers would make this a November to remember? How many associates would make this a November to remember? And I'm going to end with this. I go back to, and, my personal story, 3 days that changed my network marketing life forever. 3 days. It was a Friday. Well, actually, 4 days, 3.5 days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday after Thanksgiving, Saturday, Sunday, and part of Monday, Monday evening for 2 hours, changed my entire career in network marketing. And it started with having made a decision. So as you go into this, what decision are you making about what does your November to remember look like? What would make this a memorable November 2025, just like November 1987 was for me? What would make this a memorable 2025, November 2025, where you did something so extraordinary that it changed the course of your entire business forever? Could that be that? I hope so. But it could be simple than that. Derek, how many new customers do we want? Joan, how many new associates do you want?
I
right?
want 4. I want 4.
4. Okay, great. You just declared it publicly. You know that's your goal now, right? So for the rest of the week, for the rest of the month, the idea is how I'm going to get my 4, and in order to get my 4, you just been given some thoughts, and we're going to continue throughout next week and until the end of the month. We're going to be talking about these things. We're going to stay on this. Today was just the start, and I think Richard kicked us off really well, mindset wise, in terms of what are we building, why this is important. But for duplication to work, you have to have something you can duplicate. The U circle has to work for then the U to become 3, and the 3 to become 9, 9 to become 27, and 27 to become 81 and 200 something. It has to start with you. So that's the message today. You have done amazingly well in creating a personal story. I'm reading the book with John Fleming, and when in a chapter about direct selling, it's about you, right? It's about sharing your story with other people, right? So you've built your story. Now we want to leverage your story. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah. And I think
Okay,
the other
Al,
thing,
you want to talk about Monday morning, since you
can I
just talked
one
about John
more
Fleming?
about what Al's talking about? This is the other thing I want everyone to think about. What are you doing with the people that have gone through the liver cleanse? How are you supporting them to take it to the next level? Right? So, because we have all these people going through, and it's really great, but if you're the one that has to continue feeding the funnel all the time, we don't call that network marketing. We call that individual network marketing. What we want to do is help the people that have had some great results with their liver cleanse, and sit down with them and have a chat, take them out to Starbucks, whatever that might look like for you, and go, now, who would you see the results you've gotten? Who do you want to help? And how can I support that? And get their list of people they'd really like to share it with. And maybe you do all the sharing. They don't even have to open their mouth if they don't want to, but look at what you're doing in expanding your prospect list overnight.
Who do you know who would love to have the kind of results you just had?
Right.
Who do you
know?
That's okay. I mean, I know we're running late, but remember, guys, in network marketing, if you're going to have, one of the mentalities of a network marketer is you have a recruiting mentality, right? You're trying to expand. You believe in 3, 9, 27, 81. You believe in that, right? So you got to realize that you are literally moving from your list to somebody's list. You're moving from list to list to list. Our job is to move. The beauty of that thing is that all the people that are going to be in your business in the future are not going to come from your list. They're going to come from other people's lists. So the sooner you can get into their list and help them do exactly what you've done, and help them get their first 3 so they can recoup their investment, all those things is a very proactive step in your part. And don't wait when this thing just cools off. It's hot now. I mean, beat this iron while it's hot, while people are excited, while they're posting their videos and everything else. There's a lot of people that should have been on this Saturday call, but they're not. Now, I don't know why. Maybe that's a personal decision, or maybe we didn't do a good enough job to make sure they were going to get on this call. And I don't know, Lydia, if we're promoting it to the Reset group in any way, but we should, right? It's a Saturday call. We
do it in the associate group. We don't do it in the Reset itself group. Ross Marie has tried to keep that more just with the liver cleanse. But also text messages went out yesterday and today, and it's on the calendar.
Okay, but
so
the bottom line is, we could have more numbers here today than we have. I mean, I'm just speaking openly. We should have more numbers. You got Richard Brooke, you got Al Bala, you got Mary Jo, you got all these people coming into a call. Let's get people into the call. We got to get people into the call, and those people that have had a story, and maybe Rose will talk a little bit about that. Do we, should they be where the team is? Because this is the team. So if they're already in the community and they're hearing all these things, maybe we should let them know, hey, there's a call.
Well, the thing is, The thing is that we have the chats in the wellness advocate chat, and
Uh-huh.
people who are associates and doing this are in there already. So they're getting this information. You know what I mean? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm even thinking on just a regular call. This is a reset call in some ways because it's
Like on
you-
the support chat?
yeah.
I mean, I want to do it to me, it's not scalable because remember, you know, there are some people who are just, it's confusing. Then associates will start writing in there and asking questions about the business. So that's why anybody who's like if you have somebody who's doing the reset and they want to know more information about being a wellness advocate, then you put them in wellness advocate chat and that's all business.
Yeah. And I
Because
did
they've
post
already
it in
given you
there.
permission. They've already given you permission to say, hey, I want to know more.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the emails that corporate sends out to customers. You know, we keep the customers, and then, you know, we create a separation. Otherwise, it just, when it grows, because I'm thinking this is going to be thousands, it keeps a little bit more control.
Maybe it's each one of you. If you have people in that call that you believe would get benefit from a Saturday morning, then you can decide that and invite them, directly.
The other group.
Yeah, instead
Then-
of, okay, all right.
And then
But
there's a couple people who said they didn't get the text messages. They
yeah.
need to contact customer service to make sure they're opt-in to getting text messages from Manatech. Because that's a Manatech that's a Manatech text that gets sent out.
Can I say one thing to that, Lydia? I received a text message yesterday about today's meeting. Then I received another message this morning, 33 minutes after the call started.
And because of how many people, when they send it out, they can't send them all the text messages at one time. So that's why I got it right at the beginning of the call.
So
I
they
will
probably
have
need
them
to
start the
start
process
earlier.
earlier.
Maybe they
Yeah.
need to start sending them out a half hour early instead of half
No,
hour.
more than that, because it goes by regions and by nodes, and so they don't populate at once. They populate in segments, so it takes a while.
Segments, yeah.
They should start it a few hours before,
Yeah.
before.
And I know mine goes into a junk on my text. If you have junk set up on your texting, you need to double check that they're not going in there. So many people say that they used to get texts and they're not now. That's probably the issue. Al, I'm getting a couple questions for us to talk a little bit about ACE. They sent me some private messages. Do you want to start that, Fountain? Do you want to start that discussion?
Well, I think what we can do is for those who want to, stay for that ACE conversation can stay.
Right.
It's already 12:08. I don't want to overstay our welcome, but
Perfect.
feel free to stay. We'll take about a 30 seconds break. We just those who you need to leave. You can you're done Saturday.
But you're not done yet because you have two things. Monday morning, what's happening at 10 a.m.?
Well, Monday morning, Mary Jo does a call every Monday morning, which most of you are part of anyways, but we have a very special guest, Mr. John Fleming, who's going to talk about his new book called The New Economy, Flexibility, Freedom, and Reward. And the focus is really on what we already discussed today, that there is a whole lot more people today open to making money. Now, whether they're going to do it through just another job or they're going to, and there's a whole chapter on direct selling and why direct selling is still the ultimate option for people. So it helps with mindset. It helps it gives us a little bit more ammunition about, why what we do is so critical in days like these, that we are as relevant as we've ever been. And I think today, Richard gave you even more ammunition as to why what we do is the ultimate opportunity. So you want to be there. It's 10 o'clock on Monday, and we get a chance to hear from someone who has been doing a lot of work in analyzing what's going on out there in the marketplace. And the marketplace is saying what we do, what we're doing right now. I mean, I had lunch I had late lunch with John yesterday, and I walked him through the whole liver reset and everything that we're doing, and he was really excited. He thought, I mean, you guys are doing this the right way. He was just blown away how much resources and how many things and the story itself and the testimonials. So I think he's coming pretty ready to talk to you guys, not in general, but more specifically also about how Manatech is fitting into what he believes is the new economy.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, if you guys want to see a preview of a new video,
Yeah, you have it? You want to play it? We
I
can play-
have it. I have it
let's-
switched around like you requested
Okay.
to
let's
see what you
close
guys
that.
think.
Okay.
All right, let's count down the top 10 reasons you need the 21-day liver reset, starting from number 10 and working our way to number 1. Number 10, community and accountability. You're not alone. With daily motivation and support, this transformation sticks because we're in it together. Number 9, mind-body momentum. It's more than just organs. 3 weeks of showing up for yourself builds discipline, trust, and real confidence. Number 8, better sleep and less inflammation. Imagine fewer restless nights and relief from those aches and pains, all tied to a happier liver. Number 7, glowing skin from the inside out. When your liver's clear, your skin shows it, with fewer breakouts and that natural glow. Number 6, strengthen immunity. A healthy liver frees up your immune system to protect you from viruses, bacteria, and everyday toxins. Number 5, support hormone balance. A detoxed liver helps you handle stress, sleep better, and feel emotionally balanced without the roller coaster of mood swings. Number 4, better digestion and nutrient absorption. No more bloating and gas. Suddenly, your food is fuel and your body uses every bit of it. Number 3, jumpstart weight management. This isn't a crash diet, but when your liver's happy, your metabolism recalibrates. That means your body actually burns fat, not just stores it. Number 2, eliminate brain fog. When toxins clear out, your mind is sharper, your focus lasts longer, and your mood? Way more stable. And finally, number 1, renewed energy and vitality. Think of your liver as your body's built-in filter. When it's clean, you feel lighter, more alert, and those dreaded afternoon crashes? Gone. Ready for your reset? Your future self will thank you.
All right. Well,
I have a few edits to do to it, but what do you
Yeah,
guys think?
the words are good. The pictures may not be matching the words, but
Yeah,
that we
because I made a change at the beginning, so it set everything
so
off.
but I think it's perfect in terms of reminding us and everybody else why we're doing this.
I had the
What
same
do you expect?
disconnect, Al, that you did. I was watching pictures and
Yeah,
listening to.
yeah,
And
we
what
can
does
fix
this
that.
picture have to do with what this word is? I don't get these two. Don't it was
But we'll get there. But the words are great. The 10 reasons. Again,
Yeah.
we're trying to keep alive this whole concept of why people want to do this, should do this. It reminds you, but it also reminds people that are going through the program. This is why I'm doing this. So thank you, Lydia. Appreciate that. All right. So we're gonna bid you farewell. Those who want to stay back and hear a little bit more about ACE. There's more coming on that as we get the company lined up with what we're thinking. But for those of you who are ready to go and be the early adopters, I'm 100% in favor, and so is Richard Brooks. So I'm sure you guys are gonna we're gonna see some things happen over the next few weeks. All right. Thank you very much,
Awesome.
everybody.
Thank
Have
you.
an amazing rest of the week, and let's make next week the start to this November to remember. Right? Let's set some goals. Let us know what your goals are. Put that in the community. How many customers? How many new associates? What are you looking for in November? Be clear. Because when your intentions are clear, the mechanisms will appear.
Mhm.
By our good friend, Mr. Brian Clement. Love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.